blocked me on Facebook. And now you're going to die. Now you're going to die.
Technology, the now. The application of science, especially to industrial or commercial objectives, or the scientific method and material used to achieve a commercial or industrial objective. So, the internet and technology as a whole has become so intrinsic in our lives. Every part of our lives has become almost one with technology. Yet the question is there a problem with that? Is there anything wrong with technology? Is there wrong with the conception of technology that we have today? In my point of view, I think that technology has become too powerful and too big and must be stopped.
We all know that Russian collusion was a witch hunt, and that's all it was. There was no real news, all fake news. Little pencil neck Adam Schiff was colluding with the Russians himself. I didn't collude with the Russians, nothing with Russians, and also there was nothing with Russians going on Facebook and Twitter, okay? All fake news, I'm the real news, and that's all that matters. Listen to me, listen to Hannity, listen to Laura Ingraham, but do not listen to CNN or anyone, because it's all fake news.
Давай, друзья, на здоровье! Это был хороший, но трудный элекшн. На вопрос, что мы сделали, что мы русские сделали, что Путин сделал. Мы просто сделали, мы пошли на Facebook, мы сделали эту кампанию Trollery Factory, и мы стали троллить на эти людей, эти американские людей, которые думают, что они смогли думать сами. Но это просто нету сейчас. Технология, он просто думает за вас, за американских людей. И вы не знаете это. И что? И мы выиграли элекшн. И эти дурные Трамп людей, они думали, что они сами думали, но не, они просто думали за нас. Как мы хотим выиграть. И все.
What happened in the American election? How did the Russians get us? That is a huge question that we have to pose, but no one is really posing that. Instead, we're focusing on Trump, but we're not focusing, how is our democratic establishment broken? Well, not ours, but the American one. But we can be influenced too, just as easily. What's wrong with social media and technology today? How did we get to this point? That is a fair question to ask, but no one's really asking that. So let's start at the beginning. In 2002, Peter Thiel and his co-owner, Elon Musk, the most famous, of course, created a website called PayPal. And PayPal was supposed to help us create a platform where we can exchange money, and it's not really a tough problem like we had before of actually giving out currency with paper money. And PayPal was a great solution, but the thing was that Peter Thiel was not the best person to lead a company. Well, he was, but not socially. So Peter Thiel's a libertarian, and he believes no holdbacks. No one should tell us what to do. There should be zero accountability. And you can kind of see that in Elon Musk too with the SEC filings. But let's focus on our friend Peter Thiel. So Peter Thiel has this philosophy, and he believes there should be zero accountability for his company. And what he does is he creates this vast network where there is a company that's able to take your data and use algorithms to really push a kind of message to you to buy, and the consumerist knowledge just goes right into your head. and you're not really able to think for yourself when you're using this technology all the time. So once Peter Thiel starts stealing your data and using algorithms to push a message to you, you have other companies like Facebook, which he's a stockholder of. And he goes and he tells them, this is what you need to do to become a successful company. First, you need to use people's data and use algorithms as well. And finally, you have to create a monopoly. And he openly says that. A monopoly to him is a great idea.
And my claim is that everybody who is a founder, an entrepreneur, an investor, an early employee in these companies, you always want to aim for monopoly.
Once he's done that, he's moved on to various companies, and that becomes widespread in Silicon Valley. And what that creates is a word called technocrats. And technocrats are authoritarians, technologists, who are using their influence to become more powerful and almost too big to fail. Now, what is the problem with that? The problem with this is that within our own lives, we have a medium and a message that is being spread. See, Marshall McLuhan believed that once digital would come, we would have a decentralized platform where everyone can speak, but that's obviously not the case. These big corporations are able to speak for us and also suppress voices that they don't like. And they told us how to think, and they've been suppressing voices from the left, and they've been suppressing voices on the right. So, who warned us about this? Well, we have a philosopher called Martin Heidegger. And before I speak about him, I have to roll back to an ancient book called the Torah. In the Torah, there is a passage where God says that he creates light, and that light is good. Why is light good? Well, the Rebbe says that light is good because it reveals things. It reveals the truth. It reveals reality, what we want to see in front of us. And so the problem with technology, according to Heidegger, it reveals quickly everything. It reveals so many things to us. We use the internet, we see so many things, so many knowledge pushes it to us, but it reveals a select sort of things which is not revealed if we do not have the internet. But it also doesn't reveal certain things and suppresses those things from being shown. So let's say we have a river, and the river is flowing, and it's beautiful, and it's art. That's what it is at the time. But when a hydraulic dam is there, it's no longer a river, it's a standing reserve. That's what it is. And so that is the problem with technology. It blocks out how we see things, our perspectives in life, how we see the world. And not only that, but we also have technology guiding us in a direction, and we're not able to abstractly think outside of that direction. And there's another problem, which George Grant, a famous philosopher, a Canadian one, in fact, who speaks about the problems of continentalism. See, he was furious when Diefenbaker lost because he saw that as the end of Canada. Now Canada is no longer its own country. Instead, it is a continentalist country, a country, a part of America. You can say it's a globalist world that we're living in, but I don't really believe that when America dictates all our entertainment, our thoughts, our ideas, our politics, everything comes from America. And you can see that even with elections recently. In Doug Ford, who won the election in in Ontario, and he's almost a replica of Donald Trump. How can we have Doug Ford if it weren't for Donald Trump coming in? And that is the problem with technology. It creates a kind of globalist vision, but also the culture really stems from the places the technology is coming from, which is America. So all our messages are coming from America, and we're no longer our own people. We're no longer the brave people who fought against America saying, you know what, we're not going to be part of the Vietnam War. And I can't say that we're going to be like that in the near future. So, what is the solution to this big technocrat technology problem? That's a good question to pose, considering that these technology companies are almost too big to fail, and they're controlling the message, they control the medium, and they decide on what goes and what doesn't go. How do we really stop them? Well, there is one candidate who's running for the presidential election, and she's a great candidate, and she's a Harvard professor. She spoke about using antitrust laws to break up these big corporations. And her name is Elizabeth Warren, a progressive. Her idea is that the companies need to be broken up in order for them to thrive in their own way of becoming more innovative and more competitive to smaller companies rather than swallowing up their competition and becoming so big they don't even need to innovate because consumers will buy their products anyways. And there's also another man, a man by the name of Donald Trump, who said, you know what, we need to break the Time Warner Disney merge before it happens. And that is a possible solution as well. And although I'm a huge non-fan of Trump, I would say that that's not a bad idea. We need to stop these mergers before they're happening. Has antitrust laws worked in the past? Has breaking mergers a good idea? Well, we can look at antitrust laws in the past, like the Sherman Oil Company being broken up before. But the problem was the government didn't go far enough, and I believe that if the government really instituted it, it would happen. The companies would have to break up, and as a result, competition would build from that. Not only that, but we also have the mergers of companies being stopped by many presidents in the past, and that has worked for competition as well. But we also have to think of how do we stop China from overcoming us if we were going to be the ones breaking up our big technology companies, and China will continue to push their companies forward. Well, that is a good question, but is it really a problem if China is growing? Do we really have to be combative to a country that has been through so much colonialism and evil in the past? Do we have to mesh with their ideas, with their conceptions? I don't really believe so. I think we need to work with China in order to increase our technology and innovation, but in a manner where we're really thinking about it and sitting down and really doing that properly. How about the shareholders? How about the people making profits from the technology companies? How about the CEOs? Won't they be mad? Well, that's an issue on its own, and I believe that that's not really a problem when they're doing so many evil things. They don't deserve to be treated properly by the American people. But not only that, the shareholders. I could be a shareholder, anyone could be a shareholder. Well, that's the question is, do you believe that this is a time when we think about profits more than social accountability, more than entrepreneurship, more than competition? Is that really what we're looking for? Are we looking for a world where we have everyone be scared of the shareholders because they can be losing their money from this? That is a problem on its own, but I don't think that we need to really address it, considering the fact that these companies need to be broken up right now, or else we're not going to have a proper democracy or a social system in the future. So finally, in conclusion, my solution for the big technology companies, for the big social media sites, the FANG corporations, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google, what do we need to do? We need to implement antitrust laws, and we need to stop mergers that are happening today that can crush competition and create monopolies, and we need to prevent them from using our data without paying us or informing us. And that is the solution to our problems. But not only that, we need to think about a conception of what we want to see technology in the future. Do we want to become a transhumanist society? Do we want to be a place where we don't really think for ourselves, but rather use technology to solve all our problems? I think there are many societies today who use technology in their favor, but don't go too far with it. And we can look at the Amish society. One that really sits down and thinks, do I need this technology? Do I need to go forward with it? Or can I live a more pilgrim life as a human being and still have technology help me at times, but not always? And maybe the Amish society is obviously not for everyone, but we need to start taking ideas like that and pushing it onto ourselves. Thank you so much.